Today is March 18th, 2025. My name is Bobby Goodman, and I'm here interviewing Eileen Franklin about her days at the Columbian Club. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you.
Well, let me just jump in and kind of get a little information from you, Eileen. I'd love to find out when were you a member of the Columbian Club, or when were you involved?
Well, I was involved since I was a child. I was not the member, obviously. My father was the member. So really all my life, I've been a part of the Columbian Club. I mean, that I can remember.
Sure. Like, did he join probably in the 50s or something?
I think my sister, I was just talking to her, and we think he was one of the founding members.
Wow.
We were number 44.
That was your club number?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, if they went in order, that was one of the first ones,
That's
right?
That's right. That's right.
And then you spent your childhood days going to the club?
Yeah. We would go, in the summer we were there all the time. We were there for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thursday night, bingo night. Really, 4th of July, for all those occasions. It was where we went.
Right. So when you, of course, as a child growing up there, you were young, but did you get to feel what the membership kind of felt like? Were they a bunch of old people, or maybe just in your mind, or were they younger families? Were there a lot of families, or were they mainly...
Well, they were... No, I don't think they were older. I think they were people who had children that were my age. I'm the youngest of 4, so my sister being 10 years older. So she knew people all the way to I knew people. But when I was talking about it with my brother actually this weekend too. And the women, so the pool was a nice big pool with diving boards. And then there was like a hill by the kiddie pool that the moms sat on the hill. And my brother said that they used to call it Hysterectomy Hill. Because the women would sit up there and watch you swim or gossip or whatever and make sure you didn't drown.
So when, let me ask this about maybe your folks, since they were the original members in your family, and then I'll ask it to you. Do you think the Columbian Club, when they joined, was because there was some sort of anti-Semitism going on, maybe for them, and maybe, or did you ever feel it as you grew up there, or in your...
No, well, pretty common knowledge, the Dallas Country Club was restricted.
Right.
So Jews were not allowed. So I'm assuming in retaliation, the Jewish community wanted a club that was theirs. So originally it was a Jewish club. Mm-hmm. There were no members that were not Jewish originally. They liked to play golf. My dad was a big-time golfer, you know that, with your dad.
Yes.
And yes, so it was, for everything that I know, it was created as a place for the Jewish community and for social life. Right. It wasn't just swimming, and golfing. It was a gathering place.
So, and when you, of course, that's why they joined, and you grew up there. Obviously, you're in a Jewish environment. Probably didn't feel it then. Ever feel it as you went through your childhood, and then you became a member as a grown-up?
Well, we did it for the same social reasons. Right. I got married later in life. We didn't have kids. So it was kind of, it was where we went on Sunday mornings for brunch, and my wedding was there.
Nice.
I have the stuff my mother had when she was planning it. and I'm shocked at how little it cost compared to what a bar mitzvah costs now. It was just an amazing place. Of course, everything was cheaper too. But
You mentioned it was the social place to go. You mentioned
Yeah.
the Thursday nights and and you mentioned bingo.
Right.
And so it seemed like, was it the place to go for dining and
Yes.
all the parties and all the,
yeah,
that was the
and
place?
it evolved as I got older. I mean, they would have Thai night because a lot of the wait staff were not Cambodian, they were Thai. And so Penny, whose name comes to mind,
Uh-huh.
she and the group would do a Thai night, and they would prepare the food. What did we knew from Chinese, we didn't really know from Thai. But it was it was a community for me, and I think I mentioned this to you, where I grew up, the area was not particularly Jewish. In fact, if I go look at my high school, my senior year, who was with me, there were maybe 10 of us. And that was it. So my Jewish social life was BBG and the club. BBG being much more inclusive, and the Columbian Club being pretty exclusive, because not everybody belonged to the country club, whether it was financial or because they didn't play golf or they had their own swimming pool. I don't know the answer to that, but I think it was financial.
A lot of activities at the club besides the dining. But let's stick on dining for a second, and then we'll talk about the dining. What's the common theme I'm hearing about the food?
Yeah.
How was the food at the
It was
club?
great. It was great. I mean, it was good food. I used to go there as I grew up. I would go there for lunch. I mean, going there for lunch was you'd have the crab louie and your Parmesan bagels, and it would, it was great. And you didn't pay for it. Well, I didn't pay for it. 44 paid for it. So that was a good.
I love
That was good.
Did your folks, as a young child, did they drop you off at the club and pick you up later, or
Oh, no.
was it?
No. The club was far away. My house is now part of the fields and actually north of where the Columbian Club was. As a child, let's just say, if you forgot any part of clothing to change into for the Thursday night after you went swimming, you were out of luck. Because my dad was not driving home to get it.
It was far away.
It was far away.
What'd you do on Thursday nights there?
Play bingo.
66?
Clickety click.
Oh yeah, I hear that all the time.
I still, that was it's a very British way of talking. And if you remember Mr. Osborne,
Sure.
who, I don't know where he was actually from, but he was a very formal bingo caller. But I have since, other bingo things, heard some of the things he used to say that we used to go,
Now your dad played golf, so he made use of those. You all swam. Your family, the kids swam.
Right.
Used it to social life. Did you eventually become a member of the club yourself? Yes. So
when I married, and they had a son-in-law special, and so we could afford to do that. And yes, so we did belong. We belonged until we just weren't using it.
Right. And so, why don't you share with us, like, the importance of the club to you, Eileen? What did having a Columbian Club in your life mean to you?
Well, it was someplace to go. You know, we had a huge backyard, and I lobbied for a pool. But I was told if we built a pool, then we wouldn't be going out to the club. Now that I put it together, my father was always going to be going out there to play golf, but we wouldn't be going out there to swim. And as I got older, it was less and less swimming, and more diving. As a kid, there were birthday parties out there, but it was less and less about the swimming because more and more people had swimming pools and that sort of thing.
And did your other siblings also join as they grew up and became adults? So your whole family was really involved.
Yes, my sister and brother-in-law. Of course, now, during those days, the women did not have the memberships. The men had the memberships. So now that wouldn't fly. And I think it did evolve because there were some people whose husbands died and they remained. But I think for a while there, if their husbands died, their membership kind of died with it.
Do you remember the application process when y'all became, or
Not really, because really wasn't much of a thing. But I do remember a person that I knew applied for membership that wasn't from here, and I was asked what I thought of that person, and that was weird. You know, I don't really know, because everything is political. It's not just today. Everything was always political. So if there were a bunch of guys who didn't like somebody, they could keep them from joining. I don't know how often that happened.
Right. You grew up there, were an adult there, made a lot of friends there, I assume, or had friends there.
You know, I knew from the generations. I didn't really make new friends there because there was no real way to implement that. As far as I know, they didn't have mahjong tournaments or, anything like that. And I was working, so I wouldn't have been doing that anyway. So most of my friends, it was like your family. Well, his daddy's golfing buddies' families. Because the guys made the plans for Saturday night on the golf course. And then they went out every Saturday night. They were never home on Saturday night.
How times have changed, right?
Yes. Now families.
Right.
It's families. I would have preferred that. I'd never liked them going out every Saturday night.
So maybe if you, Eileen, share if you have some of your maybe favorite memories of the club, or maybe something really that sticks out in your mind that you did, or something that may have happened.
Well, I think about it, and it's kind of, some of it's a blur. I mean, I remember taking friends out there. I remember hanging out. I remember that my science teacher was the lifeguard out there for a long time. Don't ask me his name. Mr. Elliott, I think.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, where did that come from? Just out of the blue. Played tennis there, some. I liked the indoor courts because I didn't sweat.
Sure.
I remember one thing that just jumps out at me. So the Friedmans belonged. This was Bay and Morty Friedman, who I just had an opportunity to be with Linda, the oldest daughter, for a while on a cruise. And I distinctly remember being at the club with Aunt Bay and my mother, and Aunt Bay had like a scarf on, and she was suffering from cancer. That sticks out in my mind, and I don't know whether because I knew something was wrong, but I didn't really know. I was probably in third grade, but it kind of rocked because she died at 35 from breast cancer. So I worried as a kid, you know, what about my mom? But I remember that moment in time.
Mm-hmm. And it was at the Columbian Club.
It was at the Columbian Club.
It sticks with you. So let me ask you, why do you think the Columbian Club closed?
I think I voted against, not that I think I had a vote, but I voted against it. They had a meeting talking about the assessment to redo the pool area. And I thought that was foolish because I didn't think they were going to get what they wanted, which was younger members with children that didn't have pools. And I think they was overextended, and I think as a result of being overextended, they had to cut back on things or assess you, and people got tired of it, and management changed, and I think it just, in some ways, outgrew its usefulness, which is a shame because it would still be such a wonderful place to go and gather for dinners, and but it didn't become that. It became a golf club.
Right.
That's all it was.
Do you think do you think a Columbian Club like this could exist today? And if not, why?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Some people. I don't know what age group would do it. Everybody seems. Of course, temples, synagogues are much more vibrant places than they were when I was a child. And they provide much more of a draw for the Jewish community than I think they did as a kid. Of course, remember, there were 3 when we were growing up. And now I don't know how many there are. I can't count. Can't count that high.
Interesting.
So I think to think of it as a Jewish refuge place, kind of, as a place to mingle with your own or whatever, I don't think that flies anymore.
Let's see. Are you familiar with the new Columbian Club?
Well, you told me about it, and I looked it up, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's not.
It's a nightclub, right?
It's a nightclub. I mean, that nightclub window is closed for this girl.
So before I ask my last question,
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to share with us about the Columbian Club before I ask my last one that I haven't asked?
The only thing I would add is that those people that didn't belong to the country club often would make some snide remarks, I think, about, you're rich or you're these kinds of things. And, they had a point. I mean, it was not an inexpensive place to belong to. I mean, I didn't see the monthly bills, but initial, getting in. And of course, the idea of having to be voted on is always a conundrum, I think, for some of us. It's like, you're in a sorority, you have to be voted on, and you hate that, and yet some of them become your closest friends. So it's kind of the same kind of thing.
Well, so I'm going to ask you this question. Tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I mention the Columbian Club.
Family.
It's awesome. Eileen, thank you for sharing your memories about the Columbian Club. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. You made me go into the way back of this brain.
It was wonderful.
It's
those are great memories.
yeah, they were great memories.